I think this is one we get a lot. Tim asked, what is a good rule of thumb for how many work orders a day you should be receiving
Mm,
before you have a
I have that
full-time
one.
in-house maintenance tech?
Okay, so I say this all the time, and a lot of people on here have heard me say it before. 4 to 5 work orders a day is good for one technician because that's about 6 to 8 hours of work time. And that includes drive time. So I know it doesn't sound like a lot because you're like 4 to 5 work orders. I can, but add in drive time and a lunch because they got to eat. That's a full day. But if that's consistent, that's not just like seasonal because you can staff up for seasonal as needed. But if you're consistent with 4 to 5 work orders dispatched a day, not coming in because you want to make sure those are dispatched, then that's enough for one full-time tech. And I've seen companies who have 200 doors get that, get 30 work orders in a month or in a week. And I've seen, companies much larger who don't yet get there. And a lot has to do with, again, the market and the type of property and things like that. So
Yeah, I was about to say the market, if you're in a market like Nashville, the work orders are way different than Birmingham, right? So we're in an investor heavy market. So we're getting a lot of work orders, older housing stock in Nashville. We manage a lot of houses in Brentwood and Franklin. They're newer housing stock, just not as many work orders. So you have to know your market. Then you got to think about a place like Atlanta, right? So your drive time is insane if you're
yep.
if you're managing in different places in Atlanta. So you've got to consider all of that. But you
So
want to
yeah.
get to you want to get to what you how many hours do you want to bill every single week,
Well, what does
Matthew?
Matthew try to bill every single week?
Yeah, so the way we always tell our techs to work 40 and bill 38, and that's kind of our goal. Now, we don't hit that regularly. We have a lot of guys that do, and then we will also pay them a bonus. So we bonus them based on hitting those hours.
I will
And
say that's a really lofty, I mean, billing 38 out of 40 hours. I
hey, we don't
commend
mess
you if you
around,
guys can,
Deb, around at
you
Evernest.
don't, because if you can do that consistently,
Our
kudos to
guys
you.
do.
That is
They're
hard.
they're
But are they
fantastic, but we're
working
just
eight
hiring
hours
the
or 10
best.
hours a day?
What's that?
How many hours a day are they working?
Well, they're working 8 hours a day and billing seven and a half of those.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
We don't mess around. We hire the best here at Evernest.
Speaking of that,
okay.
Matthew and Deb, speaking of that, how do you find and hire great techs?
Oh, I have some tips and tricks for that. Matthew, what's your answer first?
Yeah, we're thinking a lot about this because frankly, it's one of the hardest things to do. If you think about what we are asking them to do, we're asking them if you think about what a normal maintenance tech would for like an apartment community, they're basically fixing the same toilet, fixing the same air conditioner, fixing the same thing over and over again. So it takes a lower skill set person to do that. What we're asking folks to do, and we just for clarity, we manage mostly single family homes. So when the tech shows up, he doesn't know what toilet or what HVAC he's going to find and needs to be able to fix a wide variety of those. So much more high skilled labor. So we're thinking a lot about this question. How do we keep really good people? Obviously, you've got to pay them at or above market rate. They're very sensitive to their hourly rate, and so we think a lot about that. And then we've started making Evernest as good of a place to work as possible. We're giving our maintenance techs trucks to drive around in. We are doing full benefits for a single person with our maintenance technicians, and we are even guaranteeing some of them 40 hours. So in an instance like Deb was talking about, like if we don't have enough work orders, that's our problem, not theirs. And so we're going to pay them for 40 hours. And there's some other things that we're doing, but we're just trying to make it like a really good place for people to work.
What about pay period, Matthew?
That's right. So we used to pay every 2 weeks, and we've actually increased the cadence to weekly.